Welcome to Whole Lot of Wolves, episode 3 of season 6. I'm Joshua Buckley with my co-host Paula Page.
Hello.
On the socials in Baltimore, it's Danny Paletti.
Good evening.
And coming to us from Minnesota, Mr. Todd DeWitt. How's it going, Todd?
Good, how are y'all?
Not bad, not bad. Okay, well, let's just rip off the Band-Aid. It was Bournemouth 1, Wolves 0. After the match, there's times where I'm down, I'm sad, I'm depressed, even times where I feel apathetic. No. After Saturday's game, I was pissed. I was pissed off. How pissed off was I? I had to leave the house. I told my wife, I need some time just for myself. I went to the bookstore. I got a fantasy football magazine and a coffee. Then I went and had lunch by myself. I think once Emmanuel Agbadou took the free kick from just outside the box, I had had enough. And it's not with Vitor. It's not as much with the players. I feel like there are issues there we'll go into. My anger stems at one person, and that is Jeff Shee, at what he has done to this football club. Nobody in their right mind could sit there and watch that match Saturday and think, this is okay. This is a good team. I've done the right thing because I know what I'm doing. Paul, I know you don't like losses, but I have a feeling you weren't as angry as I was.
I'm maybe too battled, hardened, and scarred in that it's certainly not my first rodeo when it comes to that. And the feeling I had, and this is probably what Todd can imagine a little of why I was keen to get him on tonight. It was like those crappy 1-0 away victories that we used to consistently have early season in the Championship against the likes of Gillingham away or Peterborough away. Exactly the same type of performance. Couple of chances, should have scored. Shitty goal to concede. And that was it. No identity, no fight. An opponent that should have been beatable, who certainly weren't any great shakes. So that was my frustration. That was my anger that a well-established Premier League team is serving up that dross right at the start of the season. That's what got to me.
Yeah, Todd, you've been a fan a lot longer than me. Same with Paul. Yeah. What were your feelings after Saturday?
Like you were saying, a little apathetic, a lot of emotions. Very upset that we didn't have an identity. Like you said, Agbadou taking the free kick. Like, what are we doing? Like, how far have we slipped to get to this point that our center back is now our free kick taker? The only thing, there are a few positives I took away that gave me some hope, is it wasn't a pretty win for them. Like Paul was saying, like it was very scrappy. It was a deflected goal. So at least we didn't get completely played off the pitch, but we should have done much better this is our 7th year in the Premier League. Should have done better.
And Danny, I feel like last year you could argue maybe even less talent overall, but everybody kind of had high hopes going into last year, especially those of us in America, because we had just seen the tour. We were feeling good. Even though we all kind of thought they'd start off slow, we still had high hopes. And Saturday, all I could think was everyone saw this coming, except I can only imagine maybe one person didn't see this coming, and I don't know how, but it seems like what we're seeing is what we all expected.
Yeah, it's funny because I immediately thought, even as you guys were talking about the Bournemouth game early in the year last season, which was at Molineux, and I think Kluivert scored a hat trick of penalties or whatever nonsense. But even in that game, I mean, that one felt in a way like more excusable because, like, again, we were still sort of on the high from the summer and thought maybe things would gel, but also like that looked like a team that we were playing against that was going to do big things that season. And I just thought that like Bournemouth looked fine. They looked competent. this time around, but they didn't look particularly special. But even if it had stayed 11v11, it just didn't look like we were going to offer much of anything. So, I think that's the weird sense right now through these only first two games is like sort of lack of identity, also a weird sort of apathy, at least online. And, our sort of friends on the ground report a similar feeling inside the grounds, where it's just, there's this sort of resignation to what we are right now, the sort of disinvestment and the lack of options that we have.
And we'll get into all of the shit show with the transfer window news that was coming out Monday and Saturday and Sunday. Just fucking disaster. Put an E on it, Alex. It's a fucking disaster. But let's start off with the lineup because it was very interesting coming out. Andre was not starting. And it was kind of like, well, is he injured? Danny brought up, hey, and a few other people, Bellegarde there kind of helps with creativity, which I said, if we're sitting our second best player because we need creativity, we got a lot of problems right now. But it came out after the game, after Andre played, he came in at halftime. Vitor said on Andre missing out, for me, a leader in football, positions are not a gift. I like Andre a lot, but I must push him to be better and increase his level. In my opinion, in training and in games, Bellegarde has been in better condition. He must deserve to play. Paul, I actually have a lot of respect for Vitor if indeed that Andre was kind of loafing it in practice, because what did we hear with Cunha? Well, he kind of became a diva and was allowed to really grow into that. And if Vitor sees something like this happening with Andre and immediately is nipping it in the bud, I'm okay with giving up a half a football, or in this case, probably a game, to get his head on straight. What do you think?
He's definitely one of, if not the first name on the team sheet for me. Mm-hmm. So he's that crucial to how the team play, because regardless of creativity, it should be coming from other places and not your prime defensive midfielder who can be that glue right there when we need him. So I'm in agreement about if it's a motivational thing. My one issue there is around like the attitude that prompted that in the first place. But that goes into thinking, well, what's his feeling? What's the pulse around the dressing room of what the state the team's in? What is this project? Now, it's come out today that he didn't make the Brazil squad. So was that project to him? Or come to Wolves, Andre, you'll be in the EPL spotlight, you'll get all this game time, and you'll cement that place in the squad to play in the World Cup. You'll be perfectly placed in order to do that. If that's been shaky for whatever reason, based on attitude toward the team or where confidence in where it's going, that there's question marks there. So I think this needs to play out a little. Hopefully it's a kick up the backside and it's genuine. I'm just hoping it's more that than any underlying factors that are more negative.
Yeah, Todd, I was ready to fight some people on Twitter that were like, oh no, he has to, Andre, no matter what's going on, has to play. It's at Bournemouth. And it's like, well, were you one of the ones, and I guarantee you were, saying, oh, Cunha, after he gets, that red card, he's never playing a Wolves shirt again. You gotta make up your mind here, right, Todd?
Right. I don't care how crucial a player is for us to win. No player is bigger than the team. We just can't afford someone not to be fully committed to propelling this team forward or helping out when we need it. If Andre, and clearly this is all speculation, but if Vitor thinks he is not putting in hard enough work or showing up enough in practice, then yeah, his spot isn't safe. He needs to compete just like everyone else for that starting 11. And if he's not going to do that, then Vitor needs to lay down the law and let him know exactly where he stands.
Danny, do you feel like this is a move that's ultimately going to help the team, like morale, and kind of kick them into butt? Or is this maybe where Vitor starts to lose the locker room?
I mean, the boring answer is it remains to be seen. But I think I sort of align with what Paul said, where I think that there's a potential based on, again, we're all outsiders on this, and, it's hard to know exactly the motivations, but, this feels like there's very much a potential for the whatever acrimony there is to not necessarily be personal or ego based, to a certain extent. I mean, they've all got egos. You have to be in that position. But, when Paul brought up the Brazil squad, both he and João Gomez did not make that squad over, a 43-year-old Casemiro, and this is a World Cup year, and this is something that players care about. And I think our default in most years is that players don't necessarily really want other players in their position to come in. And so they're fine with a smaller squad as long as they're part of it. But I think this is one of those scenarios where you have people who are seriously looking at their careers and said, I chose to come here. I could have gone to another mid-table Premier League club. It would not have been difficult for my agent to drum up interest to go to, West Ham or whatever, name any kind of vaguely uninspiring team, and maybe get playing time and maybe be doing at least something that would make the case for me being part of the World Cup. And it's something they're going to be pissed about. And that's it might become a problem in training, and maybe that's, part of it. Obviously this is all wild speculation, but what I'm getting at is that the source of it might be, sort of higher up. And how do Andre and Vitor even resolve that if that's the case? If the beef is about transfer strategy, well, there's only so much Vitor can do.
Vitor's pissed too.
Yeah, exactly. He wants players too, even more so. So yeah. I mean, the simple answer, of course, is we don't know, but the context that we have right now just sort of lends itself to speculating about bigger problems.
So it was 0-0 early on. Obviously, Manetzi had a chance, kind of skied it. Again, Manetzi just not the guy in the final third. I respect that he's running and he really creates a lot of space, but we need that guy who is actually a goal threat as well. Then the goal was conceded. Agbadou delivered a hospital ball to Bellegarde. Bellegarde gave it up, little deflection, and boom, it was 1-0, Paul. Who do you blame more for that, Bellegarde or Agbadou?
Both equally, I suppose. The save for is around, again, Andre's not losing that ball. He's protecting it, and if anything, he's drawing the foul. And that's what actually Bellegarde tried to do, but it was over before he knew it. So I think that's exactly what you want your midfielders to be as a defender, is that outlet, and they should have that technical and creative ability that they're feeding those balls in to midfielders in close proximity who can shield the ball and knock it off and work those triangles and play it out of trouble. So it's down to he's good in some areas, Bellegarde, but that wasn't one of it.
So whoever started this match again on the right side had a nice little opportunity, good cross over to JSL, headed straight toward the keeper, unfortunately. But then Hoover got hurt. I kind of looked like, I know some people were saying ankle. I don't know. The way he landed kind of looked like a knee injury to me. But I guess we'll see. We haven't really heard anything. And in came Jackson T'Challa, or Chachua, excuse me. I think I've got that right. What were your thoughts on him, Todd?
Yeah, I think he grew into the game. I was texting with Danny a little bit. When he came on, I was like, there's just no chemistry between him and Munetsi. And I think that's a tough situation to come in on. And I did like him as he kind of got his feet underneath of him, got to see the ball a little bit more and kind of really get out and stretch his legs. I'm curious to see how he develops, but I am excited to see where he goes.
I did like, really, his best play to me was where he hustled back on defense for a ball, which was looking like it was going to be dangerous, and did a nice slide tackle on that. I'm really excited about this guy. And yes, everybody knows I like speed. All right. I like speed, guys. Here's another thing that was upsetting me this last week. We make fun of that we can't say names all the time. Look, I'm American. We come up with nicknames, right? But at no point would I ever say, hey, this guy shouldn't put his last name on his jersey because it's too long and people can't pronounce it. Like, what are we doing here? All right? If his name was Squeezy McBumpants, like, he could put that on his name. Who cares? It's his name. All right? Danny, what were your thoughts on Jackson?
Like Todd, I mean, he showed glimpses of something more that I'm intrigued to see. I think Hoover has been, I guess a bit better than I was expecting, but that's still, this is the talking point, which I'm sure we'll get to, but the downgrade from Nori and Semedo down to half of Wolf and half of Bueno and Hoover was just like, it's really not doing it at the moment. And I think that at least what Chachua sort of offers is he's got something that he can actually do, which is he has the pace to get past people. So we actually have, an out ball that's in behind, even if it's just down one flank. So there is something there. The overall sort of team play was pretty disjointed. So it's hard to judge him on that. But he definitely grew into the game. And so I'm interested to see, I'll be very interested to see, of course, we're recording now on Monday night. But if he plays tomorrow, or like if he starts, we assume that Hoover at least will not be well enough to start then, but but if he can get that whole game, that'd be very interesting to me.
Another guy who was subbed at halftime was David Wolfe. I felt like he's going to have to get adjusted to obviously the Premier League. I do think there's a player in there. But Paul, one thing I noticed was, man, he's a lot slower than Nori. And not that we were expecting. There's a reason Nori went for the price he did, right? But there was one opportunity where Wolfie's going down the left side and the center back easily caught up with him. So that's a concern to me. But overall, you felt like it was a little too harsh to sub him out at halftime, or did you agree with that?
I agreed with it from an attacking standpoint, in that the guy needs a lot more time. He needs to bed in a little more. He's replacing such a player in the mold of Nuri that I don't think we quite realise yet, and not to and not necessarily based on skill set and his ability to play in the positions, but just the relationships that Nuri is able to carve down that left-hand side. He'd have Cunha, who could free up space for him to advance. He had potentially more understanding with Toti, so he was in a better position to do his moves. Wolfie's not got any of that yet, and maybe it's a little soon for him to be coming in and being expecting to start and fit right in. So I think when we are bereft of creativity, at least there was that outlet on the left-hand side a little more in the second half, thanks to Bueno coming in.
And Bueno did make an impact early on. He had a nice cross over to Arias. Arias just barely missed it. Didn't have a lot of chances, but overall in the first two matches, Todd, what are you kind of seeing from John Arias?
I like him. I wish we could see him with the ball at his feet a little bit more and try to take on some players. But I think that'll come with time as we kind of understand his role in the squad, as Vitor thinks how he can best get the most out of this player. But I think he's going to be a great signing. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I am as well. We just kind of need to find ways to get it to him. That wasn't happening after Toti Gomez just had a complete brain fart. Very obvious red card, pulls the guy, pulls Evan Nielsen from behind. Danny, there were some people that were like, oh, that's not a red card. I thought it was like a no-brainer. What did you think?
Well, I guess I'll say that I was one of those people in the sense that I thought it was very soft. He touches the small of his back in a very gentle way. and Evan Nielsen goes down very cleverly. I think it's a poor choice because you're just giving the ref a decision to make. It's just one of those where it's kind of always going to be given, and he was already on a yellow anyway, and so even if it was not treated so harshly, he's probably getting sent off anyway. But obviously at that point where it's just one-on-one with the goalkeeper, that's always going to be a red if a decision is made at all. And then VAR is always going to side with the decision on the field in that case, because there is contact. So it's not like the ref saw contact that wasn't there. And I saw someone else say this maybe on Twitter or something, but that's just feels like a scenario where you're already beaten. You kind of have to just back your keeper at that point. Mm-hmm. And Jose Sa is not that bad at those one-on-one situations. And, better to be down 2-0 than to have to play the rest of the game with 10 men. So yeah, however way you look at the actual contact, I think, it's a bad decision that he made all around.
I mean, look, if we were on the other side and our guy was heading straight for goal and got pushed in the back, we'd all be crying for it to be a red card. I don't think a single Wolves fan would be going, "Oh, that was kind of late." No, we'd all be like, red all day. I don't know. Maybe Danny, would you still think if it was the other way around?
I mean, I would say the same thing, is that he goes down extremely easily.
Okay. Danny's more logical. I forget this sometimes. Danny's logical. Well, anyways, 10 on 11. Oh, guys, we're only down 1-0. Maybe we should go for it, throw on some offense. No. As much as I agreed with Vitor not playing Andre, if indeed it was because of attitude issues, him putting Santi Bueno in place of John Arias was the worst possible move I think you could make in a 1-0 game. Unless you are just playing to hopefully maybe break a counter, otherwise just lose 1-0 on goal differential. Paul, what were your thoughts as Santi Bueno was walking onto the pitch?
I felt that he wanted as much as possible to keep that shape. The five at the back and the two wing backs are crucial to the way that he wants to set up. So if that can be preserved in as much as it can when going down to 10, then that's fair enough. So I was okay with that decision. I wasn't okay in terms of the personnel, because it just should have been left for Strand Larsen to be left up front, have Arias close-ish by him just to run around, feed off scraps, try and pick up something creativity-wise, because generally I can't be that negative towards him, but I honestly can't remember Menezes doing anything when we went down to 10 men. Mm-hmm. Honestly, generally absolutely nothing. So when you've got that dead weight that can't, all he's in the team for is running and height. When you're down to 10, you need more than that. So if anyone was going to get hooked, it should have been him.
Yeah, I mean, Menezes in there to be an agent of chaos, right? He's in there to run around, give you something to think about, to maybe opens up some space for guys like Arias. Okay, you're down to 10 men, like Paul says. You know what? Arias is a good enough player. I don't think he needs Menezes running around to at least create a few opportunities. So that was one where I definitely put squarely on Vitor. And that led Todd to ultimately us seeing just how toothless Wolves are right now in our depth, when Agbadu is taking the free kick from just outside the box. Were you as angry as I was? Because I was cussing at the screen.
Yes, I was. Because surely, in practice, they should plan for these scenarios. Okay, what if so-and-so's injured? Who is our third and fourth or fifth choice free kick taker? Is it Agbadu? Is it one of the attackers? What is happening? What is our backup plan? What is our backup plan? This was not okay. Doc can take a few free kicks here and there. He's played everywhere else on the pitch. Let him do something. I don't even know. Let almost anyone else, let an attacking player take that free kick.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I agree. Let anyone else take.
Because like, what is he like? I love Agbadu. I think he's just a rock solid. Like when he's on his game, he can just be a rock solid defender who can boot the ball, clear up the pitch. But when I think of someone that has finesse and skill and who can bend a ball, Agbadu is not who first or third or fourth springs to my mind.
Yeah. I mean, if I was setting live odds on him getting a shot on goal there, a shot on target, it would have been plus 2,000. All right.
Yeah.
20-1 essentially. And honestly, I don't think anybody would have taken that bet at plus even as a shot in the dark. You're donating money. You mentioned Agbadu, though. You're a big Agbadu guy. We've always been big Agbadu guys, too. But these last two games, not as much this game, but the first game was really bad. And this game, again, he delivered the hospital ball to Bellegarde. The deflection, that could happen to anybody. But what, in your opinion, is going on with him?
I don't know. I don't know if it's because he has secured his move to the Premier League that he thinks he can kind of coast a little bit, or maybe sometimes he just kind of shuts off and goes, isn't fully focusing in on the game. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, he did look not much, but he did look better this game than last game. But hopefully, I don't know, Vitor can get him figured out.
I mean, he was one of the guys that we came in and said, we'll be good because as long as Agbadu stays, we got that. And he has been one of our three worst players. Actually, he's probably been our worst player, if we're being honest. And that's even counting Toti getting a red card. This is kind of the way it is. Paul, on the Mosquera squeezy bum-o-meter after 2 games, where are you at on the squeezy bum-o-meter?
Was the squeezy bum-o-meter high? Is that bad?
That's bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much of a squeeze is bad. Okay. I'm like a 4. I've got to get this transfer window out of the way first.
Wow, Paul. I had a feeling coming into tonight, Paul would be calm and level. I think Danny knew based on our group chat today, I would not be. Todd, where are you at on the squeezy bum-o-meter?
I'm at a 6. I need to see something a little bit more from these new signings. They look promising, but I just need them to hit the ground running.
Danny, where are you at?
In a weird way, I feel strangely calm, but I think it's just partly just being beaten down. I remember back to when at the end of last season, there was all this talk, sort of journalists who seemed to have gotten little scoops that things had changed at Wolves or there was a change in strategy. And I remember thinking at the time, like, I will very much believe it when I see it, because we just have not seen a significant effort to change one way or the other for many years now. Since the pandemic, it's all been kind of the same strategy. And so I don't know, all that's a kind of long-winded way of saying that like I arrived in this this transfer window without like a ton of hope that like the strategy had significantly improved or that they were going to be spending money more wisely or whatever. And I am still there. So weirdly calm, but I guess like I have to take into account my base level of like dread, and I'm probably higher than Paul, maybe like a 5.5 or something.
I'm in full Elmo GIF mode with it on fire in the background. Guys, I'm being ridiculous, but it was probably an 8 for me after that match, and after today with all the nonsense going on, it's a 9. It's a 9. I'm not happy. I don't ask for much, Paul. I don't. You know me. I'm a simple man, right? I don't need super nice things. I got my pop character collection. Adama Traore obviously wasn't like the end-all be-all superstar. I just want to compete for 7th place. Is that too hard to ask for? And after that match on Saturday, I don't even know if we could be 7th place in the championship. That's how I'm feeling right now. Is it overreacting? Maybe. You know what? I feel like I've been level-headed for the last 8 years. I'm kind of at the end of my wits here. I need something. I need something to kind of pull me back. And you'd think it would be one of these signings with the transfer window. Hey, we're linked to an awesome 26-year-old defender for maybe 30 million euros. That's Ladislav Krejci. Thank you, Danny, for putting the pronunciation in there.
That was Paul.
That was Paul. Thank you. Thank you. From Girona. Again, 30 million. Sounded like a done deal. And then Saturday before the match, it was, he wants to think about it for a little bit. And I mean, I can't imagine you're sitting there watching that match Tuesday or Saturday going, that's a team I want to go to. That right there. I don't know. And then it looked like Cristianis Uche was all set. And that's going to be our Manetzi guy. That's somebody who can run around, do great, and is actually a threat on goal. I really like it. And then it's like, well, maybe Milan's coming in. Well, okay, a deal's agreed upon, but his agents are pissed because Uncle George is involved. Now he's like, nah, I don't want to go to Wolves. I'd rather stay here for a team that's fighting for relegation in La Liga where I'm making $90,000 a year. Paul, what is going on? We can't even close on like guys that are playing for shitty teams in Spain. I don't understand it.
It's been just the worst transfer window imaginable. I don't think you couldn't have carved out one that has potentially gone any worse in terms of the players that the amount of players that we've been linked with, and the act like the sideshow that's pretty much has gone on with everyone really. Apart from like Wolfie, who just appeared out the blue, I suppose there wasn't really much drama with Fer Lopez. Arias was like a little back and forth maybe, but for the most part, but like every name from this whole window is just, there's been some drama about it. There's been some personal issues or gripe about coming, and I'm so much in the Wolves bubble. I just want to know if everyone else goes through this shit. is every other team like this? Because it just feels like we've been pummeled and hammered so much this transfer window. It's just like beyond ridiculous now.
Again, there is a man saying he would rather stay at a La Liga team that has not finished higher than 12th since 2020. Their best finish was like 2016, 17. They finished third. Other than that, you're looking at, okay, they had a little run in the late teens, but they're awful. And he's making no money. And he's like, nah, guys, I'm cool here. Well, Todd, this all stems back to one moment in time, which should have been a fireable offense when it happened and definitely should be now. Jeff Shee's letter when he said, if competing for trophies is your thing, Wolves may not be for you. We were insulted as fans for that, but now we are seeing the ramifications on the players' side. Okay? Because these agents all know that that's out there. And you can't go to these players and go, hey, yeah, come here and, we'll make a run towards Europe and stuff, because that's a flat out lie. It's a lie. And while we've been lying to managers for years and years and hoodwinking every single one of them, poor Vitor. I mean, at this point, poor went out for Bruno Lage, right? He's still undefeated with a true number 9. This goes back to that letter, though, doesn't it?
100%. Like for a year, when we were in the championship, granted, we got some help with some money and some agents, one agent in particular. But we sold players on a project. Come to Wolves, get us promoted. You'll get your next big move. Come to Wolves. We're in Europe. Play well. You'll get your next big move. Come to Wolves. Impress here, and you will get your next big move. there was this idea, there was this ethos that this is a young and a hungry team looking to go places that you could use as a stepping stone to get your move to a traditional Big Six club or go to a Champions League club. But now it's just Jeff Shee has clearly laid out like, hey, we have no aspirations of anything. We just want to stay in this league. We want to be the Colorado Rapids of the Premier League. Just do the bare minimum and still stay in the league or still make the playoffs for MLS. Just the bare minimum. And if we absolutely have to, then we will spend crazy money for players who will hopefully help us get out of the hole we have dug ourselves into. Why would someone want to come from a relegation La Liga team to play for another relegation team? Like, it just makes no sense. You could earn more money, but like, why would you if the aspiration isn't there? If this team doesn't look forward and wants to get going and get back to the heights that we saw under Nuno, and that's a whole thing.
Yeah,
like
we don't even have time today for that.
Don't have time. We have just, under Jeff Shee's management over the last number of years, have greatly degraded one as a prospect for players, but also degraded our fan base. Like, he has taken advantage of us left, right, and center, and it's grossly disturbing that he does not understand that.
And again, when they first took over, they said, hey, we're going to fight with Man City. I think any reasonable person knows that's not possible, right? And if he had even he could come out and been like, hey, guys, whoa, way wrong there. That takes away a lot of money and a lot of cheating. Sorry, noisy neighbors. I still love you guys. But look, it is what it is, right? Then everybody would understand. Again, as Wolves fans, if we are fighting for 7th place, it's an exciting season for us. There's no reason, especially with how deep the Premier League is. I mean, look at last year. Forest going to Europa. Now, granted, part of that's because Crystal Palace won a trophy last year. We are on that level. We are the same type club. Why are they so much ahead of us? Remember, Aston Villa almost got relegated, and now they're like, constantly competing for Champions League, and they're just down the road. I've never been to Aston Villa, but I can't imagine it's much nicer than Wolverhampton, Paul. And again, I love Wolverhampton. I love it. It's a hard sell, I think, for people in Spain to come over. I love it. I don't know if it's gonna turn the needle there. I don't know. And you mentioned we just want to stay up, right? Well, now this whole JSL situation's coming out, Paul. And, well, he's not for sale. Maybe he's for sale at the right price. We rejected, supposedly, a £50 million deal. Nathan Judas saying, well, they're only £5 million off. At this point, I feel if we sell him, it's over, right? We're being relegated.
Yeah, it's like if we were any type of club that had our shit together, I wouldn't be adverse to it for the right price and having that contingency in place. Seems it's the Wolves. Seems we're less than a week before the window closing. I'm not going anywhere near that deal. But the unfortunate thing is it could still be his max value in that if this season absolutely nosedives and is an absolute car wreck, we're probably not going to have 3 worst promoted teams below us to even offer that cushion. So we could still retain him, absolutely tank, be dreadful this season, and he'll still get a move next year for probably 35 million, half the amount that we could get for him now. So that's a horrible situation to even think yourself in, because he should be the number 9, the pinnacle of this team, someone who is hardworking, the fans get into, because he leaves it all out there. He's constantly looking for encouragement. He's geeing up the South Bank. he's that number 9 that Wolves fans absolutely love, and that's central to that spine of the team that we should be building around. So, like, there's part of me that thinks he could end up going, just because this ownership have got that. It's just the investment side of it, nothing to do with anything else. It's, can we make a return on this player, and is it the best time to sell in order to do that? Because, again, down to their poor management, poor contingency, poor forward thinking, they've never displayed that previously. They've left millions and millions of pounds trickle through the fingers by, unfortunately, not taking a deal for Raul when he was at the peak of his value. Same goes for Adama. So is it going to happen that they see this 65 million, rub their hands together because they think, well, at least we're doing what we said we do in terms of an investment in this player trading model? And again, as a fan, that absolutely stinks.
I think we could go for it if we knew that 60 million was going to be spent quick and on the right players. But we have not spent the Cunha and Ait-Nouri money. In fact, you could argue the Ait-Nouri money was spent on Strand Larson. The rest of the money has not been spent well. And in fact, it's getting to the point where we're trying to spend it and we can't even do it. Todd, I mean, I get the value thing. I do. But at some point, you need players. You need players, good players, not projects.
Yeah, I agree. But if I'm JSL, I'm looking at, hey, this team's struggling. It's a World Cup year. If I can go and prove myself at a higher level, that's going to get me for sure on the squad for the World Cup next year, which sucks because we should be that team. We should be that team that, hey, come prove yourself here and you will be on your squad come next summer.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, completely agree. And now this Andre situation isn't even helping us with that. I don't know. It's looking rough. Todd, you are the ultimate Fabio fan. What are your thoughts on Dortmund?
Sell it right now.
I know, 20 million. Let's just get it done, guys.
Just get it done. Move him on. He doesn't want to be here. As much as I would love to see his golden locks head in a winning goal to keep us up, I don't think it's going to happen. Sell him.
Todd Gooding Jr. over here saying, show me the money.
Show me the money.
I mean, I don't understand what we're hemming and hawing over. We are the worst negotiators. Most of the time with at least with this one, we're kind of standing pat, like, hey, maybe we should try and coax or a few extra million. Of course, I have a feeling this one's going to bite us in the butt. We're going to end up with worse money because it's at the transfer window.
Genuine question, and this relates to all the stuff we just talked about. Do you think that our transfer strategy this summer was at the end of the season last year, played Brentford, everybody's in the locker room and they said, okay, boys, great work. We stayed up, so glad. Go enjoy your holidays. Before you leave, it's like a business seminar. It's like, leave a business card of any of your mates that can play football with their numbers written down. And you think JSL and Andre were the only ones to do it, and that's how we ended up with Fer Lopez, David Muller-Wolf, and Arias? They were the suckers who actually put business cards in the fishbowl or whatever, and those are the guys that we called up, because that is kind of the way it feels. And also, it makes me wonder, like, what happens if JSL goes? Not that, like, I mean, obviously, Fer Lopez and Muller-Wolf, are coming here for other reasons, but it's still kind of weird that, like, a big selling point when they were announced was like, oh, look at them getting these FaceTime calls from their friends who are already on the team. And then it's like, all right, well, that guy's gone now, so enjoy.
Yeah, he's like, peace out, enjoy Wolverhampton, boys. That's probably the only thing keeping him here right now is I feel like he wants to beat West Brom just because he promised it. And number 2, because his buddies play for the team. That's probably it. Danny, I was laughing today that probably Paul's worst nightmare was me and you rambling on for 2 hours tonight. We are getting to that, so I'll try and speed things up here. Let's look at, we do have a match on Tuesday. Some of you are listening today. El Sucaco is what some people are calling it. It is a cup match versus West Ham, Carabao Cup at home. It's at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central. Plenty of tickets to go around, Paul. I heard there's only like 10,000 people right now that have bought tickets. What are your thoughts on what the rotation's going to be like? We know Toti's not playing.
It's one for me that I think you bedding in this new team. There's been so much overhaul. Again, you've got a regular and a starter having to come out based on his ban. Like, generally, apart from the goalkeeper, I'd be going as full strength as possible tomorrow, just to have him try and gel a little bit, get some minutes in their legs, start to form those partnerships a little.
I kind of feel like this is a preseason game for some of these new guys, right, Todd?
Absolutely. Just check them on, see how it works out. Just get through this next game with no injuries or any more suspensions.
Oh, see, now you jinxed it.
Sorry.
Any surprise starts tomorrow, Danny? Today, whenever you're listening.
Define a surprise. Would I be surprised and maybe slightly delighted to see Yerson Mosquera start? That'd be nice. Because it seemed like he was getting close, and then we kind of haven't really seen him. So this might be a good game to put him in, but then there's like a part of me that really dreads that because it feels like all set up for him to get re-injured or something. Like
or for him to look somewhat okay, and then everybody like clamoring like, oh my god, he needs to start every game.
So just a shit game. So I don't know. Surprises. Is it a surprise if Hee-Chan starts up top? Like that doesn't feel like a surprise, like that's what we expect. So I don't know. No surprises, I guess. Normal rotation. You'll see a couple people stay in the team, probably like João Gomez or I don't know if Matt Doherty can handle playing another game a couple days later. He might be captain, but yeah.
Boy, this game would be calling out for Tommy Doyle, I'll tell you that. What are we doing? All right, Danny, let's hear your prediction. No, I'll start with Todd. Excuse me, I'll start with Todd. Todd, your prediction for this match.
We go through on penalties, 4-3.
4-3 penalties? What is it before penalties?
0-0. 0-0. Just an awful, because no one wants to lose and no one wants to get hurt.
Oh, yep. Danny?
Wait, can we get Tommy Doyle back and then just have him and James Ward-Prowse just take free kicks the whole time? It's like a free kick derby or something.
You're not giving Agbadu the chance?
Yeah. I'm gonna, because I have so much kind of apathy mixed with dread about this game, I'm just gonna steal. I can't remember if it was Stu or Luke on the fan cast the other night said this, but it's gonna be 1-1. And the goals are gonna be really separated. It's gonna be near the beginning and near the end, and then we're gonna lose 3-1 on penalties.
Yeah, I think it was Luke who said that.
The worst possible ending.
Paul.
It's not getting that far, guys. It's going to be a horrible 2-0 loss.
But if it's 2-0 and no one's at the match, did they really lose? I don't know. I think 0-0 sounds good. And the penalties are going to be 2-1 coming down to the ninth kicker.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, that's deep. That's terrible.
I got an ulcer just thinking about that.
Yeah. Oh, and we lose, by the way.
That point at which you start fearing having to watch Sam Johnson take a penalty.
Did you say we lose on penalty kicks, Todd?
I said we would win.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're lose on penalty kicks. That's what it. I am a Debbie Downer today. I really needed a lot of whiskey heading into tonight. Hopefully we don't need whiskey heading into Saturday. We will be playing Everton. Matches at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. this is the matchup where I feel like we probably could convince Paul to give up a testicle for us to get Jack Grealish. Yeah, so he's shaking his head. Yes, yep. Jack Grealish would have been perfect for this team. Paul, what are you expecting here? Everton's kind of a little spunky.
I'm expecting them to be the form team, to have that talisman in Jack Grealish, which right now is exactly the type of spark that we're missing. Just having that one player that we can cling to and offer some hope. And again, it's a recruitment gamble that for Lopez is going to be just as good or better in a year or two time, and will be phenomenal. But
In the
they've
championship.
already shelled out like 20 million for him. Why couldn't we just done a dry loan, chucked a bunch of cash at him, and like, go on, Jack, go and play. You know, decent relationship with Man City. They may have covered some of that wage bill. You never know, but it'd be nice just to have some type of excitement for a change.
I think Man City probably would have helped us out because Pep feels bad for us. That was pretty obvious. Pep kind of feels bad. Heck, he's trying to give us a defender from one of the sister clubs.
I want to believe that there's like a part of that quote that didn't get reported where Pep says that thing to Vitor about, you guys are going to sign players. And then after that, he turns to his bench and said, "You want any of these guys? Any of these guys look good to you?"
And then he pointed at Nunes and we were like, no. You can keep that.
No backsies.
No backsies. Although we could get him at a cheap rate. Todd, what are your thoughts? This is a home game. You would think this is going to be one that we should look to get 3 points from, but I don't know right now.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm such like, if you would have asked me looking at this fixture before the season started, I was like, oh yeah, clearly we can get 3 points or some amount of points, 1 or 3 from this match against Everton. Now I'm like, we could lose 3-0. Who knows? Who absolutely knows right now?
Danny, do you feel like there's a result that would cause Fosun to be like, okay, we got to pony up the money now or we're screwed? Or is that out the window now? It doesn't even matter.
I probably side with it's out the window. I mean, I don't know. I used to sort of believe in that kind of thing, but it's also like, if the transfer strategy wasn't there from the beginning, what does it really even matter? The best you're going to get is like that kind of like panic, Mateus Nunes is a good example, where it's just like, oh, this isn't good. Let's go splash some money on someone who doesn't necessarily want to come or, whatever. And so it's like, will it make there be more signings? Maybe. Will it actually help the situation? That would remain to be seen. So short answer is no, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, we could break Southampton's 9-0 record, and I guess that would set off some alarm bells.
Oh my God. I don't. That would be. I don't know what I would do. It would have to be more than going to a bookstore and getting a fantasy football magazine that day. At least Alabama plays that day. Okay. Yeah, let's look at the predictions here. Todd, what are you thinking?
2-1 Everton.
2-1 Everton. Yeah,
Oof.
That feels pretty strong. Danny?
This is more just a comment on how I'm feeling today, I guess, and not helped by this podcast at all, but I think Todd already said the result, which is 3-0 Everton.
With a goal and 2 assists from Grealish, right?
I mean, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Paul, I don't think you're going Wolves. I'd be shocked.
I'm going one better than that because we've got precedent for it. Do you remember that season when Leicester got relegated and they rocked up at Molineux early in the season and smashed us 4-0?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be exactly like that.
And 4 shots and 4 goals.
4 goals.
Yeah. Yeah. A pantomime villain like Vardy scoring, which would be Grealish. Tyler
and Pickford
Dickman
winding up the fans behind him.
Coming off the bench at however much he cost, 70 million. He'll get one as a sub. It's just got all of that written in the stars.
Something tells me Spoons will not be a happy place after that.
Oh,
Wow, I thought I'd be the Debbie. I was going to say 2-0. I'm still going to say 2-0, and I kind of feel like I'm the glass half full guy. That prediction.
I was really expecting this podcast to be cathartic and very like uplifting.
You were not looking at my
Oh.
Twitter feed today, then. Let me tell you.
No Stupid Questions is brought to you by Esfuerzo Wines. Located just north of Santa Barbara, California, Esfuerzo Wines showcases passion and 3 generations of winemaking in every bottle. Whether you're toasting some vino de Vitor or winding down after a day of work, let Esfuerzo Wines transport you to the heart of wine country with each sip. Now at esfuerzowines.com, you can use the promo code VITOR, that's VITOR, at checkout to receive a 30% discount off your order. And don't forget to try the special edition 1-pack wines to show your passion and support for wolves with each glass. This message is intended for those of legal drinking age. Do not drink and drive. Excessive alcohol consumption may be harmful to your health. If you or someone you know is struggling with alcohol abuse, please seek help. Esfuerzo Wines reminds you to enjoy their product responsibly and in moderation.
It's that time of the show again where we open it up and get you involved by answering the questions you've submitted on our socials or have emailed hello@wholelotofwolves.com or right here live on the stream. If you're with us on YouTube, you can ask in the chat in real time. Remember, this is sponsored by our friends at Esfuerzo Wines. Get that 30% off your order with the coupon code VITOR when checking out at esfuerzowines.com. First up, we have friend of the show, Drew Freakin on X. And he asks, if you had to bet your life on being able to keep a pass in bounds, do you choose A, Jose Sarr, B, Emmanuel Agbadou, or C, do you resign yourself to the fact that your life is probably over?
I know what I'm choosing. All right, let's get it over with. Just kill me. Yeah. It's like in Dark Knight Rises where he says, all right, do you want banishment or death? And he goes, oh, well, I'll take banishment. All right. Or I'll take death. All right, death by banishment. There you go. That's what it is. There's no good choice.
Yeah, I think I'd just say, I don't know. I would take Sa because I think I would live a little bit longer. Because there's just so many pizza spots in New York City that I haven't eaten yet that I would run to all of them. So I'll choose Sa.
He has been better.
Yeah. Better?
2 games. Danny?
To quote Moneyball, would you rather a bullet to the head or 3 bullets to the chest and bleed out? Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd just rather go. Although, be humorous to see the 50-50 chance of is Agbadou going to try to pass out to the wingback, who's then, of course, that's going out of bounds. So I'm a goner, or straight through the middle and it goes to a center back. Do I survive in that scenario? It's still in bounds, but it didn't reach a target.
Paul, I think you had already left Platypus Brewing, but Andrew looked at me from Houston Wolves and he said, you know what's the worst part about being an American Wolves fan? And I said, what's that? And he said, that we chose this.
Yep. Last week's guest, Chris Fisher on X. This is a good one because Chris asks, what pun best describes Wolves' summer?
Well, to me, it's more of a dad joke. It's, hey, did you hear there's a book about constipation that's come out? Did you hear that, Paul? Or that's well, it hasn't come out yet, but it's going to. That's how I kind of feel about Wolves right now, especially with the transfer window.
Is it going to, though?
Is it going to? I don't know. Let's get some Miralax and Jeff Shees.
Will surgery be required?
We have been relegated to poop jokes, guys. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a pun or just a dad joke, but what did one eye say to the other? Just between you and me, something smells. And that's exactly how this
Oh,
transfer window went. It's just so awful. It's smelly and terrible. Oh,
Oh, but Uncle George is gonna save us, Todd. Uncle
no, he's
George,
not.
he's coming through. Except when he pisses off the players' agents. Paul, do you have one?
No, just like that whole despair. I think we'll look back on it and it'll be like the movie I Know What You Didn't Do Last Summer.
That's a good
Find
one.
some
Those are pretty-
players.
Which
that'll
the
be the
remake or
January
the
one.
new one, not too bad. If you're a horror movie guy, had some good callbacks. Just saying.
And that was our No Stupid Questions, everyone, brought to you by Espresso Wines. Head on over to espressowines.com. Use the coupon code Vitor at checkout, and you will get that 30% off your order.
Todd, I'm sure this was not what you were expecting tonight. But it's because you're not on Twitter and you didn't get to see my meltdown today.
No.
That was going on. So I know you're not on Twitter. You used to be, but now you're not. So where can we find you?
You can find me at Blackheart of St. Paul almost every match day.
That's
Come
in
watch it.
Minnesota.
Yep. As my little moniker says, Todd from Minnesota Wolves. You can find me lurking on the Wolves USA Facebook group. You can look up Minnesota Wolves on Blue Sky on Instagram. That's where we're most active. You can also find me at the Premier League Fan Fest in KC. I will be walking around there, probably next to Josh, having a good old time.
Oh yeah. We are shooting some Malort.
Yeah.
If we can find it. We're
I'll bring
doing it.
Oh, I'll bring it.
Oh God.
Let's go. Let's fucking go, baby. Just like Hugh Jackman would say. Let's fucking go.
Sure. Yeah.
Our new owner who's going to save us.
We'll be
It
back
was,
time next week to review the two games before that illustrious international break. So thanks to Danny on the socials, Alex, our producer, and you, our audience, because this show is entirely for you. You'd be doing us a huge favor and helping Whole Lot of Wolves grow by giving us a 5-star review, thumbs up, whatever you can on your podcast listening platform of choice, along with heading over to Whole Lot of Wolves on YouTube if you are not there already, subscribing and liking our content on there. So if you happen to be listening, if you're contemplating signing for the Wolves before the end of this transfer window, you can look down at that contract proudly, look up, put your signature on it and say, up the mighty Wolves.